Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Give and Go, the NBA show. I'm your host, Dante Williams, and co-hosting this show with me today is my brother, Jimmy Williams.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we got a decent amount of things to talk about today. So it is the conference finals for the East and Western Conference. Obviously, we've seen the first conference finals go down with the Heat and Celtics. Now, the Heat came on top in game one, uh, thanks to Jimmy Butler. I think he had 41 points. And
Mhm.
I think Boston came back, beat them in the mouth game two. Marcus Smart and Al Horford return. And there will be a game through today. And it's going to be an interesting game today because Kyle Lowry, they said, will be back tonight. Um,
Ooh, he coming
he has
back.
played. Yeah, Kyle Lowry is returning. PJ Tucker, he was on the injury list, but they say he will be playing. And but
Mm.
Boston will be without Robert Williams. They just confirmed he'll be out today.
What
And
happened with him? Knee injury again.
yeah, he still got that knee issue lingering. So
Mm.
I want to let you know what's your first couple of takeaways from the first two games, and what do you think the return Kyle Lowry can potentially do for the Heat? Because they obviously have been having struggles with other people scoring besides Jimmy Butler.
Well, as far as like the Heat go, they at home, they got home court advantage, so they did what they supposed to do game one. Jimmy Butler, they really ain't had no answer for him that game.
Mm.
Um, you know, and Tyler Hero, he really came. I don't know if you watched it, but Tyler Hero came in the game and he changed like the whole game when it came to giving them that punch off the bench. And I don't think Boston was ready, but they didn't have Marcus Smart or Al Horford. So I
Mm.
mean, that probably changed their game plan a little bit, how they want to attack offensively. But then game two is, Jimmy Butler still had a decent game, but they kind of locked in on everybody else. I was disappointed in Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, he was.
He
Yeah.
didn't. He has. I think he had 6 points. That's not gonna do it. Bam got at least like drop 25, 30 points. Like
At the
Jimmy,
same time, I will say I think the coach should put him in the offense a little bit more. I think they
he
should try to
he
give
he,
him.
he could, but I mean, it ain't that hard for post up, ask for the ball in the post. Now maybe the additions of Marcus Smart and Al Horford coming back kind of changed things a little bit defensively for Boston. But Bam and them gotta have a better game. As far as Kyle Lowry go, they've been playing good without him all season.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry being hurt gave these other guys the opportunity to step up and they earn these minutes. So Kyle Lowry playing or not playing is not that big of a factor for me. He does get him like the veteran presence on the floor, 3-point shooting, defense. But that hamstring just been lingering. I don't know if he's going I still don't think he's 100%. I think if he does play, he's trying to kind of save the series and help his team out where he can, but I just don't feel like Kyle Lowry is the change that they need for the series. I think Bam needs to step up, and I think these other guys, PJ Tucker being out, getting hurt was a big blow for them. They need him as far as defense and them corner threes go. But Jimmy needs some help. I mean, he probably guarding Tatum or Brown most possessions, and everybody else got to step up. But they did what they supposed to do. Game one, they lost game two, so they 1-1. Now they in Boston. That's gonna be a whole different animal there.
And one thing I want to mention too, for some reason we haven't seen a lot of Duncan Robinson, and this is the person who they basically gave an $80 to $90 million contract.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure what the issue is. I don't know if it's because Boston's a really good defensive team, and I don't know if they think that
I
would.
think so. From what I saw was, I think they were saying like in the beginning Duncan was getting minutes, but then what's his name that's starting now?
Lose.
Struce, yeah, I think they like him better as far as like a two way. I think he's a better defender, and I think Duncan had like a little slump, and Spoelstra kind of gave Struce, a couple of minutes, and he been taking advantage of it. So Duncan just kind of fell out of rotation. They put him in last game because PJ Tucker got hurt. I think he hit a few shots, but Duncan Robinson, they paid him all that money. They definitely gonna have to try to get him involved in this away game. They gonna need 3-point shooting um, to take the pressure off Jimmy Butler and Bam. But that's the way the league is. If you ain't producing, it's gonna be next man up, and you might be the next man out. So
Yeah, for sure. But we gonna switch the topic right quick.
mhm.
So we seen yesterday that Dallas, came out early. They pushed Golden State. Eventually, they had a 19-point lead, but they blew the lead. And you can kind of see some of the similarities what they did in Phoenix. I think what they was trying to do was they was trying to switch Steph a lot, kind of like how they was doing
Mhm.
with Chris Paul, bullying him. And then
Mhm.
eventually, actually, matter of fact, before we get into more of this topic, I'm gonna invite another guest onto the show.
My guy Brian, what's up, bro?
My apologies, y'all. What's going on? I had to download Chrome on my
It's
Mac.
all good, man. We finally got you on here. How you feel?
Man, I am happy to be here because I wanted to be on here since y'all started, y'all.
It's love,
Congratulations on
bro. It's
successful
love. We
performance.
appreciate you for coming on.
Hey,
Everybody be hitting us up, bro. It's not just you. Trust me. It's a
I-
lot more people on the list. We got to get on the show, but
I'm
you
glad I
know,
got to get my spot on it.
Now,
yeah.
I was gonna switch the question, but I kind of went back. I wanted to get your thoughts right quick on the Heat versus Celtics series. He basically blew them out game one. Boston came back, blew them out, and I think they said tonight that he will get Kyle Lowry back, and Robert Williams is out for Boston. So, what's your first take on the first couple of games, and what you expect throughout the rest of this series?
Well, aside from them being 1-1 and outside, I mean, obviously game one, Miami came back and won, but if y'all remember, Boston came out hot in game one too. Like it there's a world where I'm not surprised if they were up 2-0, and I'm really disappointed because I took Miami to start. I think I'm one of those that it's starting to hit me now where this ain't the same team from the bubble in the conference finals. That
Right, yeah.
I've been calling Boston frauds basically this whole playoffs, but
I mean, they were. It was valid. It was valid.
and it
Yeah,
actually I have a question of my own later on, but it leads me to a question later. But Miami just is it almost I don't want to say they look old because they're not old. I mean, maybe you look as old as your best player. I don't know. But even Jimmy looked great in game one, so I don't know. It's they just disappointing right now. It's
I mean, it's the if you really look at the Heat, like the team they had in the bubble when they went to the championship, it's kind of like the same issue that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. They really have no real. When you think of Miami, you don't really think they have like ain't no superstar that really pop out, kind of like how
right.
Luka, Steph Curry, or somebody like we know Jimmy Butler a star, but like at the same time, we kind of question too, like Jimmy
I
Butler
mean,
can't
I
question
think what
on their team. So
I think what you kind of going to is like the Heat culture, right? They play hard,
I
they
was
play
gonna say the
defense.
same
You know,
thing.
they gonna get at. It's never an easy game against the Heat, bro. And then they
yeah,
got all those shooters. Like the Heat could really like disorganize what you're doing on the offensive end. But I forgot to mention too, Victor Oladipo. He need to he's been okay off the bench. I think he could have some better games.
I
But
think round two was like that round where he was able to say, "Hey, Victor Oladipo's here," and I think that's honestly it. Vic,
mm,
I've been a fan of him. I was hoping everything was going to eventually kind of like take like maybe an extra year or so after you have knee injuries. Thing
yeah.
I'm still
I
pulling
think
for him honestly going forward, but it's not looking good. I think round two was that round where we got to see, hey, he's getting buckets. Hey, Oladipo's here, but I don't know if it's going to help going
But
forward.
I think I think personally, like what Marcus Smart is to Boston is what Kyle Lowry kind of is for the Heat. Like Kyle
Oh,
Lowry, good at different. He's a good defender. I think he'll make a difference. I think it'll kind of get Butler a little load off and running the offense a little bit. And then PJ Tucker, will play tonight. He kind of got injured last game and left. So
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's looking good for Miami. They kind
We're
of getting
gonna see
healthy.
tonight, man. Boston
And
gonna
we
be
gonna
at
see.
home, so it's gonna be a whole
And
different.
Jason Tatum
Yeah,
is balling, bro. He for
yeah.
sure.
I'll
Jason
say one
Tatum.
last thing about Miami. The one thing I've had, and it showed now, the one doubt I had about them, even though I took them to start the series, I ain't gonna like slide away from my pick. The one thing I said, they came into this series with rotation issues still, and that didn't make sense. Like, how do you come into the conference finals and you're still having questions about your rotation? Like, you
Mm,
paid somebody $90 million, and I can't remember the last time I saw him on the floor.
Duncan Robinson. Yeah,
Okay, Rob, yeah.
yeah. He played last game because PJ Tucker got hurt, but you know
But
he I think like I told my brother before you hopped on. I think he had like a little shooting slump, and I think they like Struce better on defense.
Yeah, I
So I
think
think
so.
that's kind of why he kind of got faded. But I mean, it is what it is. It's maybe we'll see more minutes from him tonight. We never
I'm
know.
about to see Tyler Hero, be that second best scorer. Like he gonna have to do. He averaged 20 during the season. He gonna have to do more.
Yeah, it's.
He gonna have to do more
I believe in Tyler, so I'm not changing my pick, so I'm gonna see what they do tonight.
for sure. So I'm gonna go back. So we're gonna switch into the Dallas and Golden State series. Like I said, shortly.
That was
A
a
little,
lovely game last night.
yeah.
Lovely.
Like I said, Dallas had a 19-point lead. That was the highest lead. And I remember I just told you they kind of tried to do to Steph Curry what they did to Chris Paul. They tried to switch and they tried to get him in foul trouble, which they kind of did. But at the same time, they tried to live by the three, die by the three, and it didn't work in the second half. Uh, and what was interesting with Golden State was Golden State, like the reason Golden State's so good is they don't have to take threes all the time. You see, they kept taking twos. They was backing them down, taking all them 2-point shots. And then when they got down to two, then the fourth quarter came. It was basically over with after that. Steph Curry caught fire. Klay Thompson caught fire. Jordan Poole. Uh,
Mhm.
so I want to get y'all thoughts. Do you think that since Dallas blew this league, you think they should be concerned? Uh, any type of concerns at all?
Like that
I'll
one.
let you. Side note too. I forgot. Dante Bryan is also a DJ. Y'all both doing y'all DJ thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Plug
word,
y'all at
okay.
the end.
So,
But we gonna let DJ Brian over here go first,
Okay.
because I got a lot to say about this game. It was just a good basketball game to me. But go ahead.
Well,
yeah.
first, since y'all gonna plug me, shall do. Uh,
Yeah.
Real quick, let me plug myself if y'all don't. DJ
Go
P.
ahead.
Dope's Bar and Grill, 2320 Roosevelt. I'm here 9 to 3 tonight. Come pop out, but no.
Hey,
As
let
far
us
as this
know.
series, I mean, if to answer your question immediately, hell yeah, I think that was their shot. Like respectfully saying, Dallas knows they shouldn't be right here, right now. I don't know what the hell happened Sunday. We're not gonna go into that. I've had my own moment to accept what happened Sunday. I'm cool off that now, but that was their shot. Like you got a huge lead on the road well, I was about to say Oracle. Obviously, it's not the Oracle anymore, but you're in San Francisco with a double-digit lead. You have to find some type of way. It was like once they fought back in the game, like I was at the bar DJing while the game was going on. Once the game started getting within single digits, and I mean that might just be history of seeing the Warriors. I'm like, this game's over. Once this game got within single digits, it's like it's just something that happens in San Francisco, and as many teams can't get past it. They couldn't that night. I think that was that one shot.
But the same thing, like the thing with I've been telling people about Golden State, like people was like Phoenix the better team, Phoenix the better team. But
I get
what
you.
separates Golden State from Phoenix, what I've been saying all season, is they have depth. Over, like they have just better depth. You seen Otto Porter came in yesterday. It was one point in time they hold benches in, and they the one
You
who kind
stealing
of.
my thunder right now because I was finna take all of this, bro. I was finna say, like,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
let
get
you
into,
go.
I'm gonna get back into it when you're done. But
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
let you go. I'm gonna let you. I'm
Nah,
gonna let
go
you.
ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish. You got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say basically they bench came in and Looney played great yesterday. Uh,
Mhm.
he played great. I've never seen a scoring game from Kevon Looney ever.
I don't know what's going on with him right now. Can't explain it.
And man, and then you think too, like, man, Golden State don't got Eagle Dollar, they don't got Gary Payton the second, so that's like two defenders, and they only got James Wiseman either, so that's like three players like they don't even have right now, and they were still able to come out with the win. But I'm passing to my brother though.
Man, I'm finna go down the line. I'm finna hit every. So first, we're gonna start with coaching, right? We're gonna start with Steve Kerr. They down at half. I wasn't concerned. Like I'm watching the game. I'm like they only down 19. They not down 30. Like Golden State could come back. Like I'm never concerned with Golden State. You got Steph, Draymond, and Clay. I'm not concerned at halftime. So they went on a little run or whatever. Well, first let's get to Draymond because Draymond he got that first technical, and he was like walking like this was like the line for Draymond to get another technical, and he was on that line the rest of the game. He did not care. I
Dre know how
loved
to do
it
that.
because he was trying to get his team that energy. Like he didn't care.
Right.
Steve Kerr told him to calm down. He's like, nah. Steve Kerr kept putting him back in the game anyway. But whatever. So Steve Kerr come out of halftime. They go on a little run, but they still like down because Luka and them still hitting shots, right? So Steve Kerr, I think he put in Moody, Jordan Poole, Loney. He took Steph out. He took Clay out. I think he left Wiggins in, and I don't even think Green was in. He had like my brother said, he had the bench in. They go on a run. They go on a run. They bring the score down. He starts the fourth quarter with that same five. He don't take him. Usually you like, all right, we back in and let's put Steph. He didn't put Steph. I think he put Clay
And
in first.
he was in foul trouble too.
Right,
That's
right. He put Clay in first. He left Steph and Draymond on the bench. He let them. He let the people that brought him back in the game stay. I love that from a coaching aspect because other coaches have been like, look, I had to get my best players back in. They got it close. Nah, he waited till like 7 minutes into the fourth quarter before he took Jordan Poole out and everybody else out. And I'm just like, you need to do that. First off, they got you back in the game. They confidence is high and they knocking down shots. I think before he took Jordan Poole out, he just hit like a clutch 3 to put them up like 1. So I just love that from a coaching aspect from Steve Kerr. And then we got to get into like Steph, Clay. First off, like you said, they tried to have Steph run around screens trying to get him to guard Luka, right? Steph wasn't going. He was like, he left Luka, he sprinted back to his man, let
they was
Wiggins
trying to
catch
get
up
that
to him.
switch every time.
Yeah, they was trying to hit him with the switch. If you gonna do that, like you gotta execute that a little better. Cause like it was working in the first half. This is another coaching thing that Steve Kerr did. I think he took Steph off. I don't know if he was guarding Brunson or somebody. He put him on Finley. So Finley wasn't setting the screens in the first half. The other guys was. So now Steph is in the corner guarding, and then you got like you switching Looney. They rather Looney guard Luka than Steph guard Luka. That say a lot about Steph defense, but you know it is what it is.
No,
And
really.
and it kind of changed. Like once they tried to get Steph in the switch and it wasn't working in the second half, it slowed down Dallas' whole offense because every time they missed, Warriors got the rebound, ran to the other end. Curry hit a 3. Like it was just a lot of good. Like from a coaching standpoint, it was a lot of good basketball being played. And Steph did what he had to do on offense. He like, look, y'all gonna run me through the screens, but who gonna guard me down here? Because nobody was really like. I think he put Steph in the game in the fourth quarter, and Steph scored almost like 6 straight points. Like he was just in his element that night.
They was being very unselfish too. Like
Yeah,
he
made a lot of good passes.
They was either giving the ball to Looney for like a drop pass, let him go, or
yeah,
it's hard too because when you like if Steph or somebody get in the lane, you just looking at them like, man,
draw attention. Yeah, but everybody had a good. Wiggins hit some open threes. Wiggins went to the basket. He guarded Luka. Looney was getting rebounds, and then Looney was finishing in the paint. Klay Thompson came in, hit a clutch 3. It was just all around good basketball. Jordan Poole definitely was a spark off the bench that brought them back in the game. Yeah. That was Dallas' chance. Even if Golden State lose these next 2 games, you still got to go back to San Fran. It's gonna be a game 7 in San Fran regardless, and my money is on Golden State all day long.
When you look at, I'm gonna go back to something you said earlier about the coaching. About how they left, their reserves in starting the fourth quarter and that's, I mean, the way I've always looked at it is that's kind of a reward for your bench guys. And honestly, overall, outside of rewarding your bench guys, that's just trusting your bench guys. Because like you said, any other coach would, okay, great, y'all did y'all job, you got us back in it, starters gonna come back in, and we're gonna take it home. But when you have trust in your bench that you can trust them to say, hey, take the first couple of minutes of this quarter so we can give Steph an extra break. We don't have to force Steph out there earlier, and maybe he picks up an extra foul, and then we have to rush him like that. And that leads me actually into my second part. With Golden State, we know the rap for their opponents, especially playoff time, like put whoever Steph's guarding, get him to switch. Golden State, for whatever, and I hate it, I get that their philosophy. Personally, my philosophy is I hate just giving up the switch on a screen. Like Golden State, a lot of time, and it frustrates me when Steph gets switched on to someone. It's not because they fought through and it was just a hard enough screen where Steph has to come over and commit. A lot of times they'll just give it. Like whoever he's got, they'll give him the switch and just give Steph to whoever the ball handler is. I like that they did not do that last night. I'm always a fan of fighting over screens and keeping your matchups how you want. Like when you do things like that, you're letting the offense dictate your defense. And the way that offense is in the NBA right now, that's you basically giving up the game at that point. But they definitely made that switch, and I think that was something important. And if they keep playing that way, and then you got, I don't know really what to even call Jordan Poole anymore. I just call him an alien right now because I don't know what he's gonna do every night.
Yeah.
So if
I
you've got
mean,
if
yeah,
you've got them, and then you're not just giving into them defensively, and then you've got 3 to 4, depending on the lineup, 4, maybe even 5 people that are a threat to put the ball in the basket on the other end, depending on what the lineup is, that's tough. So I hope they play that way for the rest of the playoffs because I think that'll get them far.
and let me just touch on Dallas side of the ball. Jason Kidd, coaching wise, he had a really good game plan. The first half, they looked great. Actually, Dallas was knocking down threes this time. At the first game, they weren't knocking down anything. So this game, they hit more threes. His game plan with Luka, I heard some of the announcers talking about it. He didn't set a screen for Luka. He let Luka go 1-on-1 and just drive without
Because when
bringing
they did
another
that in
guy
game
to him.
one, when they did
Yeah.
that in game one, it didn't work so well.
Yeah, he just kind of let Luka drive without a screen, which it was working. Their game plan was working. I just think Also, I forgot to touch on when the reserves were in, it messed up Dallas offense a lot because now they weren't trying to put Steph in the pick and roll because Steph was on the bench. So now you got Moody, Jordan Poole, and Steve Kerr was like, all right, y'all try to bait somebody in now. Now we got players on the floor that can stay with Luka or at least put a better hand up on him. So that third quarter is that's the reason why Golden State came back because Steph was out a lot in the third quarter and they weren't able to try to get that switch that they was doing on Luka because Steph wasn't in the game. And then God forbid Gary Payton come back next week. Jesus, because you like
Iguodala,
like you know what I'm saying? Like you got 2 other guys that you just gonna throw at him. Dallas is a good team. It's just they missing
but if you
that center presence. I think that stretch or Porzingis was supposed to be that guy and he wasn't. So now they gotta try to fill that void
nah,
because that's the only advantage you got against Golden State is out rebounding them and killing them in the post. That's
but
the
this is
only
the
advantage
thing.
you got.
Like unlike Memphis, they don't. Dallas really not athletic, so Memphis is able to kill Golden State in the paint.
Exactly.
You can't beat them off threes. Like this, kind of the same thing with the Houston when they had James Harden, PJ Tucker was playing big. They had all them shooters around,
Boy,
right?
James Harden them had
But
their chance,
if you
boy.
go that actually make it
And
easier for
with
Golden State.
27 threes.
It make Golden State, it make them it make it easier for them to guard you because they know you're going to live by the three. And if you can beat them, then if you don't live by the three, you got to do it all game. You can't do it the first half and then the second half, like you just non-existent. Like that's not how you gonna beat Golden State. So
At all.
that's why it's like, man, looking at this matchup with man comparing like Memphis to Dallas, like Dallas just man.
But the one thing that absolutely kills me about Golden State, and I know Brian gonna like attest to this. Every other Warriors fan or anybody that watch Warriors basketball, they kill themselves with their turnovers. They turn the ball over so much, and it's not because like they just make stupid decisions. It's because they overpass. Like they move the ball so much, they overpass. They expect for people to be in a certain spot. And sometimes if you're not on one accord or like if you're trying to overpass or pass, you actually want to put the ball where the person is gonna be. And and it frustrates me because like Steph will throw this pass, and I just know he throw this in practice all the time because he just he just be lackadaisical just throwing the ball and they just turn it over. And that what really kills me about them. Yeah.
Game 7, 2016 finals. Steph was doing that. He threw that behind the back pass to Clay and threw it out.
It's the turnovers
that's just in their nature. I just think that's how they play.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kills the Warriors for me. Like, if you get them on if you have them turn the ball over and you up and you getting good rebounds against them, and you knocking down shots, then it's gonna be a tough game for the Warriors. But I mean, hey,
What's
Dallas had their chance, man. Up
But we know
19, you got to
Dallas,
win that.
the way Dallas play though, is just like live by the three. Like that's how they blew out Phoenix.
They
And
they
Phoenix got
they they
no
they
answer.
not gonna win this series doing
Yeah,
that.
but you're not gonna be Golden State living by the three. But that's how Dallas is that's how their team is constructed. That's how they
Well,
build.
I think they beat the Suns because I think when Dallas started playing more aggressive on the defensive end, it kind of disrupted the Suns. And I kind of knocked the Suns game plan because I would have been posting Aiden up the whole game. I don't care how
The
many
whole
people you throwing
series.
at him. Like I
The
would have
whole
put him
series.
at the block. I would have put him at the block and just had him kicking it out to Booker or whatever and just played through Aiden because that's
well?
their advantage.
But like I said, Phoenix really don't have it's a depth difference, and Phoenix they get them a couple more players for that bench. I mean, they'll be good. But I'm gonna switch the topic right quick.
Okay. Not only did he switch the topic, he went off the screen. He'll be back. But so I think the defensive team came out, or was that the topic you was about to put on the defensive, or we gonna get to that?
We can talk about the defensive the first
Okay,
team.
because I got an issue with that. Can you pull that up, or do
Can I
y'all know
real
Yeah.
that?
while y'all pulling that up? I just want to shout out an NBA team member. Shout out to Ayo Dosunmu, made second team All Rookie this year. So
Right,
proud of you
facts.
for the city. Can't wait
Right.
for year two. Had to put my plug in for my guys, man. Should have
You
worn my Ayo
stupid.
jersey.
But so I need to look up that
Okay,
team.
so I got
You got it.
so this is the all defensive. All
This
right,
the first team, right?
so this is the first team. So Giannis,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Smart,
Mm-hmm.
Deserved.
Rudy Gobert, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Mikal Bridges.
Okay, I got a problem. Where is Drew Holiday?
I have a
On the
second.
Where is Drew Holiday in the first team?
On the second team.
You could take Jaren out. You could take I'll take Michael Bridges out, but where is Drew Holiday?
I'll take
I'll leave Mikal Bridges. I'll leave Mikal Bridges in there.
Mikal definitely belongs on first team. I would take Jaren out because he fouls too much.
Yeah, I would take Jaren.
Because you're not on the floor to play defense. You foul too much.
Bro, how did he even get in the conversation? Like I ain't watched
He's
him
a
in
great
many games.
defender. Don't get me wrong, but he fouls out every game.
Yeah.
So why was Drew Holiday not in the first team?
And look, this is the all defensive second team was
Oh, I didn't even see the second team. Okay.
was Bam, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Matisse Thybulle, and Robert Williams. So that was just all.
Who was the first dude you said?
Bam Adebayo.
That's deserved. I have a question about the second team. I'm like heavy on looking at NBA Twitter right now. I'm gonna address if there's any New Orleans Pelicans fans that are in this fan base here. Herb Jones is not making the all defensive team. You want to know who took his spot? Thibault did. Herb Jones is not making. Didn't he get all second team?
He on all rookie. He on all rookie second team, I believe.
Relax. He's on all rookie. He's fine. But Herb Jones is not making.
Oh, I didn't even know he was a rookie, but that makes a lot of sense because he did get a lot of steals. He like a mini Pat Beverly.
That's like back when Bulls fans, I ain't gonna lie, I was mad too. Back when Ben Gordon didn't get sixth man of the year, he made first team all rookie. He fine.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody had different opinions. But we're gonna talk about the I don't know if y'all seen the NBA draft lottery the other day.
I did.
So Orlando got the first overall pick. Now
I'm so mad they did, but go ahead.
Now the last time they had a first overall pick, it was '93, I think, when they took Shaq.
Dwight Howard, 2004.
Yeah, my fault. Okay,
that's why we got you on the show, man. Just bringing in the stats, man.
Encyclopedia, dog.
It was Dwight. But I think the one thing that is interesting is the Thunder have 3 first round picks, and we've seen that over the next couple of years they got like 17 first round, 18 first round picks. They got
Jesus.
They have 20,000 picks for the next 50,000 years.
And this is a draft. Now, I was looking at this draft. There's no real number 1 overall pick projected. I think it's between the guy from Auburn, and then you had Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, and you got Paolo Banchero from the Duke.
I can't wait to talk about this because
But the interesting thing I did see during the lottery is the Lakers. I think if they would have fallen that top 10, that pick would go to New Orleans Pelicans, part of
They
that
did.
Davis trade. So now the Pelicans have a top 10 pick, and then you look at them this year, they made it to the playoffs,
put Zion on that team, boy.
But
Trade
the
him.
fact that you able to put another first round pick on that team with CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and them, that I would hope they would get a guard though. They need a guard.
So let me get into why I hate that the Magic got this pick.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they got the first pick. They have 3 guys that's power forward 6'10" that all do the same thing. Now they have an opportunity to get the top 5 picks are 6'10" guys that all do the same shit. Like I'm confused on who they like. You got to go with probably the guy from Auburn because he's a shooter. They better not pick Chet because what do you like? Your draft, you have 5 of the same players on your team already. So what are you gonna do with him? Like
you have to. I feel like with the Magic, you looking at their roster. Who they get last year? Jalen Suggs, and they got Wendell Carter Jr. He had a solid season.
Another guy, I forgot about him.
He had a great year.
They all stretch 4s that play defense and can shoot the 3. Like how many players do you need doing the same thing?
I personally think if you look at their roster, you would think like go best available, but I think that dude from Duke probably will be the best fit because he kind of more like a small forward, power forward.
Mo Bamba.
He gonna be a free agent.
It doesn't matter. Like he does the same thing. Like they all play the same position, bro. You're not like.
But I think when you in that position, if you're Orlando, well, first off, you got the number 1 spot.
You got to take the best player. You got to take the best player.
Lotteries, but you're there for a reason. So even though you have all of these players, it's kind of like back when, I mean, obviously the Knicks didn't do it right, but back in like the early 2000s when the Knicks had like 5 guards, when they had like Crawford and Marbury, and like it didn't make any sense. It's like when you're in this, obviously the Knicks didn't do it right, but when you're in this position, you can literally write your own ticket. You can decide at this point which of those players you want to keep. Decide if you want to go best available or if you have a guy that you identify as someone who is great for your system. I think if I had to predict what they'll do, I think they'll take Jabari.
They got to, because if Jabari is not their clear cut pick, they got to trade the first pick and just move back into like top 5 or something and just try to get.
But that's what I'm saying. You can literally pick where you want to go here because there's nowhere to go but up. You have talent. You can do what you want. If you think that Wendell Carter is the piece to go around and you want to maybe take someone to put next to him or package some of those guys with a pick or something and move on in another direction.
Didn't they draft Wagner last year?
Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I was so mad when they got it because I'm like, they about to draft another. They about to draft another power forward. They better draft another power forward, bro.
Worst come to worst, it's a good problem to have if you think that if you as a franchise think you have multiple players that can be NBA guys and lead you going forward. It's a good problem to have.
I'm telling you right now, if they draft the power forward and they don't trade none of them, I'm never watching Orlando.
Hey, look, remember the Sixers?
Hey, look, that's stupid.
Remember when the Sixers had Embiid and then they drafted Jahlil Okafor? Like it's kind of the
best player available. I don't blame
it was the same situation. But no, on an interesting note, outside of the Magic, the Thunder, if you really look at their team, Josh Giddey was a solid pick last year for them. Great. And then you look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you look at Dort. They really have a chance to add another young player to that team. So,
and I'm really sad because I wish it was Detroit that's gonna get him, but I think they're the ones that are gonna take Paolo. Well, wait, they're number 3, right?
No, the Thunder number 2. Houston is number 3.
Oh yeah. So I think if Orlando doesn't jump out of the way and take Jabari, then they'll take Jabari. But I think they'll take Paolo. I mean,
he's my favorite player out of everybody.
I think
there's no real number one pick, so it's not guaranteed that Chet.
It's depending on who you talk to, people have favorites. Chet is a favorite right now overall to go number one.
Because he's
I like
7'1",
Chet because
dribble,
it's
shoot,
hilarious.
play
Yeah.
defense.
I wanted to, but hey, maybe it'll work out like Luka. I thought that Luka was going to go to a bad team and whatever, and maybe it'll work out for him. But I personally wouldn't touch Chet with a 10-foot pole. Hey, if he turns out great, that's great for the league. That's another great player. I don't think it's going to be him. I would take Paolo. Maybe I could be wrong. Paolo could flame out. Paolo could be that guy we think is a slam dunk, and he flames out.
I think the weirdest is, if we talking top 5 for me, is the Houston pick, because if I'm Houston, I don't know which. You got Jalen Green, y'all team really not going nowhere no matter who you pick. It's just kind of like a step.
They got some nice young players though. They got Porter.
But you know what I mean, man. Like, they need a big. It's not gonna be like you give Cleveland Mobley and then they making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not. I think what's advantageous about Houston is Houston's draft is simple. Take who the first two don't. It's simple. Like this draft. I mean, this draft is deep. There are a lot of good players, but there are 3, just like last year. There are 3 clear-cut top 3 players.
Yeah. I just think the Jalen Green fit for me is hard to. I think the best fit for Jalen Green would probably be Chet. I don't think it'll be.
But whoever the first two to go is, they're gonna take that third. Whoever.
Right. It's just take the ones they don't.
Gonna take regardless. Whoever there. I think Jabari Smith is a better fit because while Jalen Green is able to score, Kevin Porter, I think you need like a stretch 4 big kind of.
And he can play a little defense.
Protect, and he can defend too. So
who you talking about?
My Houston. I think Jabari Smith would be a better fit because he.
I thought he was a small forward. He's a power forward.
No, he's a power forward. Paolo's more of the small forward, the 3-4 type of tweener, and
that's what I think.
I need the heights. I need the heights on these guys.
But if
like 6'9", like 6'9".
But man, if like Thunder can get like Chet, if the Thunder can get somebody like Chet, that'll make them very good.
Oh, that would elevate.
With Giddey and them,
if they get Chet, they got Giddey, they got Shy. That's a squad there. But then if you get Smith or whatever, that elevate their team too. OKC could do no wrong because all those guys fit their team. Houston and Orlando is kind of up in the air. Like, I don't know.
One thing I will say, if Jabari Smith falls to Houston at 3, people are talking about him so positively. I don't think he will though. Like that, it really, I guess, depends on what OKC does. But for Houston, if they end up with Jabari Smith, I'm not saying that's what it could be, but what I envision there is in a small way, kind of a Jaren Jackson type of thing there. I think that's what they could make.
I don't even like Jaren Jackson. I don't feel like he consistent.
I don't either because he fouls out every damn game.
I don't feel like he consistent.
But like, man,
I don't feel like he could be. Jaren can't be the second best player on their team. It's got to be somebody else. It's not going to be Brooks.
I agree
too. Brooks.
If Memphis want to take that next step, they got to get them legit like second star.
They got to. If you can steal Donovan Mitchell or somebody or Bradley Beal or whatever you want to do, they need that.
Maybe do something.
They need something because Jaren is not going to be your second best player. It's like John Collins. What John Collins is to Trae Young. That's what he is.
But I think unfortunately the problem is with Jaren Jackson is he can be better than John Collins, and in some ways people probably tell you that he is.
I'll say he's a better shooter.
Like people say he's inconsistent, but I won't even blame it on inconsistency. He can't stay on the floor long enough to have a productive stat line every night. If you can't stay on the floor, that's your inconsistency. You could be playing great, and every 5 minutes the coach has to pull you, and now you've ruined the flow of everything because you can't stay on the floor. Like that was probably back in college. I don't even think he was starting at Michigan State when they drafted him.
Hey Dante, who are the other? We talked about the top 3 teams. Who are the top 5 teams?
I got it.
Detroit 5, and I wish they were in the top 3.
Detroit definitely deserved to get what's the name from Duke.
I wanted him.
Him and Cade Cunningham would be a solid 1-2 punch.
All right, so after Houston is Sacramento number 4. Now that's a team. They have the longest playoff drought right now.
I don't trust the Kings to make a good pick. I don't.
They just hired a new coach. Mike
Here's
Brown.
how bad the Kings are right now. They've made De'Aaron Fox look like a bad player.
They have,
and he's a great player. Yeah,
they made keeping De'Aaron Fox over Tyrese Halliburton look like the most insane thing ever. And De'Aaron Fox can average up.
De'Aaron Fox is the best thing since they drafted DeMarcus Cousins. They haven't did anything since.
But look, going back to how you said how Orlando getting all these power forwards, man, they went back and drafted Davion Mitchell last year, Sacramento, and now they got DiVincenzo in a trade. So now you got all these guards on your team now. So it's like they would have had to make a decision down the line. Like, man.
And the best player after those top three, Chet, Jabari, and Paolo, the best player after that is a guard, Jaden Ivey. But you know what? Sacramento's dumb enough they might take him too and just have.
They're gonna take him. They gonna take him.
Trade him.
They had a good two-way guard that they gave to Indiana for no apparent reason.
They're gonna do it again. Jaden Ivey.
I think they believe in Davion Mitchell. I think they believe in Davion Mitchell more. But
how you, bro? Like, okay, so they did get Sabonis, which was really good for their team. Sabonis was a really good pickup for them.
Not for what they
I just don't think they should have gave up that guard. I think
I think it's what Sacramento need is like a good 2-way 3.
Sacramento needs Jesus.
Promising 2-way 3.
They're ran by
the Sacramento and the Knicks organization are just like kind of downhill for me. Like we could run their front office if we wanted to. That's just how bad they've been. Like
the Knicks got the 11th.
Hey, you might get hired. Hey, you might as well apply for the job.
Man, look, hey, Knicks organization, Sacramento, y'all see this, man? Look, first off, I wouldn't hire which coach did they hire again? I can't remember.
Who? Sacramento?
But yeah.
Which right now
Mike Brown. He the assistant coach for the Golden
I wouldn't have did that.
They hired Mike Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, this the crazy thing.
Lottery for
the crazy thing is they interviewed Mark Jackson. So I'm thinking like, man, it's a possibility Mark Jackson
He's from there. He played there. They drafted him.
And
well, this is just going downhill by the second for the organization.
All right.
They got the 11th.
So Detroit at number 5. They got Cade, they got Sadiq Bey, so they got like a good starting backcourt, you can say. Grant.
They also got Hayes, don't they? The other point guard.
Yeah. So I think Detroit just need maybe like
you don't like him?
Big.
He got injured though. I think he need like
terrible when he first came in. I haven't seen him play good basketball.
When I seen him come back, when Cade came back, they look good together. But I thought Cade was gonna be the primary point guard. So that kind of threw me off when they, I don't know. I don't know if Cade's going to be a point guard or a small forward. LeBron James had the same issue because they wanted LeBron to be point guard.
Of the top 5 picks, I could see this pick be the one that gets traded. Like, I could see this being the one where they try to, like, call somebody up. And, like, let's picture this situation. Like, Jaden Ivey doesn't go to Sacramento at 4. He's still available at 5. They obviously don't need him. Unless you think he's going to replace Killian Hayes, which, I mean, hey, might not be a bad idea.
No, but this is the interesting thing, though. The Houston GM, the new GM of the team, said it's a possibility Houston can trade the number 3 pick if the right thing.
That too.
So that's something to look out, too. And then you see the Thunder. The Thunder got the 2nd pick, and then they turn around and got the 12th pick.
I think every team is looking to trade. If you're a team that's, like, up and coming, rebuilding, everybody's looking at OKC like, all right, so what y'all gonna do? How many picks y'all gonna give up? Because OKC could really change their team in one night. Yeah, they have so many first round picks, bro. Like they could get 2 superstars in that one night if they want to.
They have 2 lottery picks. Like
if I'm a team, I'm trying to trade with OKC for whoever you want. Like
and OKC is gonna fleece whoever.
Another interesting pick is number 7 by Portland. Now I was watching draft lottery the other day. I seen Damian Lillard.
That was funny. He was pissed.
Damian Lillard. He probably was hoping he got a top 3 pick, but
they were supposed to. But he dropped down to what? 7? He dropped down to 7.
Mm-hmm.
That was so sad. That was so sad.
Shout out to Dame, not running from the grind, but running from being competitive.
Yeah, he said like they got some good pieces like Josh Hart and them.
Who
actually did play pretty good, even though he was out. They did play solid.
And Anthony Simons is amazing.
Yeah, they need to keep him. After the Simons,
I think they need to just rush the
I think
process.
I think he's the reason why they were okay with trading CJ because like okay we got
Yeah.
another scoring guard like we could afford to get rid of you but
what doesn't make sense there?
I think Portland looking at defense now. Like even I even seen some rumors. Like I think they said they should try to go after Aiden to see what happened with him in Phoenix. Getting him to Portland.
Nurkic
Aiden's one of them players where I just don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it was just him on the Suns. Maybe
I give him credit because he made himself a better defender. Like that first year, he averaged like 17, 10, 18, and 10, and he was like really showing he could score. And I feel like he sacrificed a little of that. He's still got a lot of work to do, but I do think he sacrificed a lot of that and has become a better defender than he was when he came out. So I give him credit for that. And I mean, that could be an option. I don't understand why, if they're so high on Anthony Simons, they're trying to get meetings with Zach LaVine, but hey.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Zach LaVine, so LeVar Ball came out the other day and said,
"Why are we still listening to this man?"
I don't know, but he did say he think LaVine will be on his way to the Lakers.
Shut up, LeVar.
Now before LeVar Ball even said that, I actually think I seen Jay Williams on the show in the morning. I think he said something about LaVine going to Lakers, but I think the only way that would happen is if it's like another team, like a 3-team trade.
Yeah, because we don't want anyone there.
But this is interesting because even LaVine said he gonna test free agency, but kind of more and more now that
I mean he deserves to test free agency. Yeah. I just want him to come back. Like you could go out.
We know no other team can offer more money than him than the Bulls.
But I don't think it's money for him. Like I think it's just this is the first time in his career where he's able to choose where he wants to go. Now, mind you, if it's between us and LA, I feel like he's gonna choose LA. Like just because it's LA.
LA. We have to trade him there. And
right. It'll be a sign and trade, but I'm saying like if that was the choice, like I feel like he'll just you know what I'm saying? Because it's LA. I mean, who wouldn't want to go in LA?
I feel like it's gonna come down to Lakers gonna have to give up either Westbrook or Anthony Davis. It's gonna have to be
we don't want.
It's gonna have to be a third team in that trade. They're gonna have to give up one of them.
I definitely don't want either Westbrook or Anthony Davis either. Cool. Like people was like, "Ooh, let's get Anthony Davis." I don't want him. Like he don't have that. For him to be a superstar, he don't have that killer instinct to me to like dominate. We don't need that on our team. Him being like lackadaisical, taking plays off, getting injured every other day. Like we don't need that on the Bulls.
Well, really quick. First off, I'll take 60 games of Zach over 30 games of AD any day. First off, but there's been report. I mean, I've naturally been just all over looking for reports, any new news that might break about Zach. But there's some reports that come out and say he wasn't as much of a fan of like all the love that DeMar got, which doesn't make sense because if you look at it,
if DeMar was producing,
problem with it, he's a great actor. If he didn't like all the stuff, he's a great actor because
you definitely couldn't tell because they look like best friends throughout the whole season.
Like every 2 seconds they're hugging. If you are mad at that, then you're a great actor.
Now, I will say, I think when I was watching that Bucks and Bulls series, I did see a play where I think DeRozan had the ball in his hands and LaVine was pretty much wide open. And then LaVine kind of got upset a little bit. So, but that a lot of that has to do with Lonzo being out. You know, after Lonzo went out, a lot of the offense went through DeRozan.
But they saying, I think I've been hearing they saying there's some concern with his knee. Like if Lonzo, it don't matter if LaVine come back or not. If LaVine come back and Lonzo not there, bro, we're not. Yeah. Lonzo is like a big chunk of our team. Like Lonzo was doing a lot, rebounding, passing. He was hitting threes. Lonzo was hitting threes, bro. Yeah, like it's if Lonzo is not gonna be there in the near future, and they feel like his knee is not gonna hold up, no matter if we got LaVine or not, the Bulls not doing nothing without Lonzo. Like we would have to replace Lonzo, and that's hard to do. A 6'6" point guard that can play defense, shoot, and pass. It's hard to replace that.
I think a lot of people had concerns with Kobe White and Patrick Williams.
Don't even mention Kobe. We're not mentioning Kobe White no more on the show. We're not. Let's move on.
Yeah, my mental health is.
We're not gonna.
All right, yeah. This is gonna be the last topic for the show, but so it was a podcast. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called I Am an Athlete. I
I
think
am athlete. Yeah.
yeah, I Am an Athlete. It's hosted by Brandon Marshall. I think LaShawn McCoy was on there.
Hmm.
And Kyrie Irving kind of was kind of reflecting back on his time with LeBron,
As he
and
should.
he said he kind of matured more now. Then he said back then he was younger. He requested a trade, went to Boston. A lot of people kind of was confused on why that happened, but Kyrie, when I watched it myself, Kyrie literally said if he would have stayed there, him and LeBron could have won multiple more championships.
I
So
agree.
I want to get my brother take because it look like he finna. Actually, no, I'm gonna get the other DJ. I'm gonna let him go first.
Well, I mean, and I honestly, I don't think first off those two chapters, those two being, I don't think that's over. I feel like one day they're gonna play together again. I mean, these is two grown men that we don't know, so we don't know what the hell going on in their lives. I think that was on the surface, it was just little brother wanted to strike out and see what he wanted to do on his own, and hey, once he was out there on his own, he saw what was really out there, and he see, hey, Bron was just trying to guide him. I mean, I don't think that anyone was wrong. I don't think if you're Kyrie, you got drafted there with the remains of what had happened after LeBron left, the first time. And then Bron just comes back and it's all of a sudden you're like getting your footing ready, you're getting everything, and then Bron just comes back and flips everything around. You guys get a ring out of it, but he was just coming up. I don't blame him for wanting his time at that time. So
yeah.
I think they could come back together again. And I as far as the question, yeah, definitely. If they could beat the 73-9 team, yeah, I think they could have got another one together.
And I think too, like you got to think, like it was really pride over anything. Like Kyrie, like he knew Cleveland was LeBron's city. Even when LeBron came back after he was on the Heat and he came back to Cleveland, Kyrie knew. And then I think another thing he touched on too was they didn't know if the team could stick together that long. Like you look, they had Shumpert, J.R. Smith. They didn't know if they can keep all of them on that same championship team after that year. They beat Golden State. So I think it was like a lot of things in the air. They said in the locker room that it was a lot of uncertainties. But Kyrie requesting the trade was basically sold off of he wanted to have his own team. He wanted to lead.
He wanted to go to Minnesota. I'll never forget that one.
And that didn't work out in Boston, clearly. Or, I mean, the Nets, it's not looking too well either. So I'm gonna give my brother opinion. It look like he a lot to say.
My mic on.
Your mic is on. You're live.
Getting a Stephen A. impression on.
Kyrie's an idiot.
Oh, come on.
So he got mad because LeBron came back and he wanted his own team, right? LeBron was gonna leave for LA anyway. You didn't have to leave. He was gonna leave you regardless. That's why he left first, because he knew that already.
Probably.
If he wanted his own team, he could have just stayed in Cleveland. He didn't want to be in Cleveland. No, nobody want to be in Cleveland. Nobody wants to play in
I
Cleveland.
don't blame him for that.
Nobody wants to play. So
Joakim Noah told
that, him playing with LeBron, and he knew LeBron was leaving, he left. This story is going to come out probably 20 years from now. We're not going to get the story now. But that's why he left. He's like, LeBron's going to leave. I want my own team anyway. Let me try to leave first. When he really could have just stayed until LeBron left. Then it wouldn't have looked as bad if he left. It wouldn't have looked bad if he left. But since he did, now he's the bad guy and LeBron's not.
Well, if
LeBron gave him a championship, he's from there. He's like, okay, cool. I'm good on y'all. I could dip back out again. Kyrie didn't. He left a sour taste in everybody's mouth, being an idiot. Like I don't know, man.
And then LeBron went to the finals and took Rodney Hood and them to the finals, so it looked even more bad for Kyrie. It looked even more bad for Kyrie after he left. So
it's just Kyrie, man. Kyrie has made a lot of personal decisions, a lot of bad decisions, and I don't. Where does it end for him? Like, is he gonna just end up having multiple rings, or he's just gonna have that one and just be he? I feel like he's content with that one.
I mean,
I feel like he's content with that one. Kevin Durant is not, but I feel like Kyrie could retire today and be fine and go be on an island somewhere and just try to draw the Earth being square or some shit. But like, I don't, I don't understand his mindset. Now he wants to get on the show and like, oh, we could have won multiple rings together. So what was your thought process then? Like, you were mature enough to hit a game winner, game 7 to win a championship. You can't tell me, oh, now I'm more mature now. We could have, like,
he's a
that's
growing guy. He's growing every day.
Nah, but I think he did.
not in the right direction, obviously, because he, you should be a person that tries not to dwell on the past or try to have regrets. Kyrie has regrets right now because he only still got 1 ring.
But
That's why
if
he
you
has
look at
regrets.
Kyrie, if he ends with 1, it's like, hey, I got 1, but I also hit the most important shot in the history of the finals.
And then they was 73-9 team, so
Yeah, like I hit the best shot in the history of the finals to get it. So hey, I'll take that if that's my 1.
But I think with Kyrie, if you look at I don't know if you watched the podcast yourselves, but he basically was like he was going through some stuff. You know how he do like the sage and stuff like that, like all the other stuff. It was a lot of stuff going through.
Okay, we all burn incense. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Like, that's him burning sage ain't got nothing to do with him playing on the basketball court. He could light candles around Barclays Center all he want. Like, he needs to go out there and hoop. That's what we want Kyrie to do. Hoop. That's it.
Hey, so
That's
I
it.
have one last question for y'all. I know
I'm gonna go buy me some incense today and then go hoop later.
I got one last question because I asked this to KD the other day, and since
Okay.
we on Kyrie right now, this is actually a good time to ask it. Do you guys believe that playoff losses can age, whether that's age well or better or badly? Do you think that playoff losses get a chance to like have context and age well? And I ask this for this reason. Boston beats Brooklyn in the first round. Everyone reacts insane, and Brooklyn is trash. KD's garbage. All this. They lost to Boston in the first round. If Boston goes to the finals, does that get to look better? Like, hey, yeah, Boston's really that. They're really that guy right now. Like, does that look better? Or do like next year, are we still going to look back? Man, they lost to Boston in the first round. Like, do they get a chance to say, hey, they won the conference, or they potentially won the championship? Like,
I feel like if Boston were to win the whole thing, this would be like one of the best finals. Like, I mean, Milwaukee winning last year was kind of cool. Like, that was Giannis and Chris Paul's chance to get they one. If they was gonna get one, that was gonna be it. I knew it was gonna be tougher for Giannis and the Suns this year. Like, it was gonna be tough for both teams. But Boston, this will be a really good championship ring if they went through all the best teams, especially if they play the Warriors in the finals. If they get past the Heat, this will be one of the best rings I've seen in a while.
Might have to go through Steph. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Giannis.
KD, I wouldn't take anything from Boston, but me being a Kevin Durant fan, I was like, once they got down 3-0, I was like, I just hope he lose. I hope Brooklyn lose game 4. I just hope they lose, because I want KD to go home and be like, all right, we got swept in the first round. I need to like come out next season and dominate. Like, I like when the best players got that extra fuel to come out and hoop, because like sometimes we all can get complacent when we do our jobs sometimes.
And then I think a lot of people forget, because it was so much KD slander after they got swept. Like, really much all LeBron fans was talking, but at the same time, you got to remember, before KD got hurt during the season, they was the number 1 seed. Like, they was killing everybody. And
the
then
Bulls was number 1 seed for the first 2 months.
And then
I always got to put that out there.
And then the Nets, and then you got to think.
But we couldn't beat none of the good teams. That was the only knock on the Bulls.
Yeah.
We beat Brooklyn twice.
Right, we did.
Then I felt so bad for KD like after this sweep, because like
I did. Hey, you
only
favorite player, man.
It's my favorite play. I'm like, bro, you now you gotta hoop next season. Ain't no like Kyrie needs to play. You need to get in Kyrie and tell him, hey, bro, I need you to hoop. You don't have James Harden no more. Ben Simmons, we don't know what the hell gonna happen with Ben Simmons.
No, look. That's what I'm talking about though. Like, KD had even though KD had some bad games on that Boston series, but man, look what he had to go through during the season. He had to go through the Kyrie Irving drama. James Harden forced his way out. And then you get Ben Simmons in the trade. Ben Simmons don't play at all.
This who he wanted to play with. This who he wanted to play with, man. He the best player on the team. I need Durant. I need him to win the scoring title next year. I need them to be the first seed. I need all that.
I will say,
I want that for him.
but I will say, man, they all I think the Nets need is like another big.
No, the Nets need a whole new bench. First off, the Lakers in Brooklyn.
Hey, they need to keep.
They need the Lakers in Brooklyn need to be the two most aggressive teams in the draft and the offseason. They have to change. They have to completely change their whole roster because
they size was definitely an issue in that.
They both underachieved in the bench area. I was happy they got Patty Mills, and he was a fail. Brooklyn needs to change. They whole Joe Harris needs to come back. They need him back. They need Clanston. He played good.
I would get off of Joe Harris. I don't think he's worth it. I would go try to find someone else to take that role. Or
they got to Brooklyn. They GM need to be the most busiest person in this offseason because they roster got to change. They have no defensive players on their team.
Yeah, they got
besides Ben Simmons.
They got shooters. They just don't have no defensive. Like Patty Mills too small. Joe Harris would have been a liability on defense.
Cooked.
Bruce Brown probably the only guard who can really defend. Kyrie can defend when he wants to, but that's why I said Ben Simmons would have been good regarding Tatum or Jalen.
My knock on Brooklyn, which is what pissed me off, they had Kyrie and KD. They went and got Harden, but I didn't like how much they gave up because they gave up Dinwiddie. I didn't like them giving up Dinwiddie at all. I want them to keep
Jared Allen. I ain't know how I felt about Jared Allen.
Jared Allen, bro. If you keep Dinwiddie and Jared Allen and you don't get James Harden, you still got Karis LeVert. Like those three over. Like okay, you get James Harden, but that didn't pan out. So now you look back on it and be like, okay, that was a bad trade. Now you put Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and Dinwiddie on this Brooklyn team this season. Look, Boston wouldn't have had the same type of easy game they did against Brooklyn if they had them three guys on their team. They wouldn't.
Philly go get James Harden in the first.
I was pissed off when they got rid of Allen. Like I don't understand what was the talk like about not like keeping Allen on your.
See, when you go get a third superstar like James Harden, particularly, you gonna sacrifice depth. Like that's the only thing about super teams. Like you ever look at any super team.
Mind you, it would have worked if everybody wasn't injured. I mean, they almost beat Milwaukee without Harden, half leg Harden, and Kyrie was injured. I mean, Kevin Durant was a toe away from beating Milwaukee, but it didn't happen. So, I mean, I don't.
If Boston don't somehow make it to the finals, say like Miami make it, then they need.
I think that's a huge step back for Boston if they don't make.
No, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, Milwaukee and the Nets gonna reload in the offseason. They gonna be ready.
But like Miami, like we didn't see Miami making the finals. They make the finals, it's okay. But if they don't make the finals, Miami still has things that they need to fix on their team. Yeah. Boston, I don't think Boston could get any better. I don't think they can get any better than what they plan now. Unless they were to get another point guard.
A legit point guard. I think they get them like a point guard.
But who you gonna get? You got to pay everybody else now. Robert Williams playing good. Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford playing good. You definitely got to pay Al Horford now. He been a big part player.
Al's at the point. He's not taking like a vet minimum, but like you can get Al for like 10.
I don't know. I think this is Boston's best chance to win one because, like you said, Dante, I think next season is going to be a lot tougher like it was for Milwaukee and the Suns this season. So this is Boston's best chance. If Boston don't win this year...
Like KD and Giannis lost to the same player, Jason Tatum, so they're going to take it personal.
Yeah.
In the
but, I mean, Milwaukee, if you're a Milwaukee fan, you a Bucks fan, you say, okay, we didn't have Chris Middleton. I would like to see us play y'all with Chris Middleton. They have an excuse, even though teams not going to care when they're playing you. But Milwaukee got an excuse. They ain't had Chris Middleton. So, I mean, But
you look at Brooklyn, man. They like size. Like, it was...
Brooklyn has a lot of holes in their team. They got a lot of holes.
Yeah, you got to think, too. Like, man, how they going to look with Ben Simmons? Like, it's...
And Kyrie got to eat. Kyrie had to eat, bro.
I love the fact that Ben Simmons was supposed to be there for Game 4, and when they lost Game 3, they put up Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons would have made a difference guarding Jason Tatum and them. Like
A lot of difference.
it would have been a big. The series would have took a turn. You wouldn't even need him to score. That's what you got KD and Kyrie for. And then you could have him bring the ball up the court, which I thought they told KD to do that too much. They asked him too much to bring the ball up the court. But I say keep Seth Curry.
Have to keep Seth.
Seth got injured too.
Andre Drummond, he was losing playing time. Yeah, I think they need to get them like another big power forward.
LaMarcus Aldridge and all them got to go, man.
LaMarcus Aldridge get no playing time.
The experiment didn't work.
I say develop Cam Thomas, that rookie they got.
He had moments.
He can be very good.
They should have gave him more minutes. I feel like against Boston.
Well, they really need all the wing help they can get. They need all the wing help.
How do you grade Steve Nash as a coach through these 2 years?
I think Steve Nash needs to work on his adjustments.
Yeah.
Rotations. But then that says a lot about the team that he had to use. Like
look at all the stuff
he wanted Blake. Experience. Like people wanted Blake Griffin to get more minutes, but it was like Blake Griffin wasn't knocking down open threes. Yeah. He could help you out on defense, but it was like Boston was killing them in every aspect of the game. It was bad. But I don't know. Now, if Steve Nash and them don't win next year, then I think you got to look at like, okay, hey, you may need to go. But then
you look like they got swept. You got Ben Simmons who coming next season. You're gonna have Kyrie hopefully available. I think they just gonna look at their roster and be like, they know they have to improve. They know that, but they just gonna sit back and man, we just gotta get rid of this, because they really building around KD. They need to know what like they try to bring winning culture into their system. So they want to take a good long look, be like, hey, we're not getting swept no more. So hey, everybody got to be on board, even Kyrie.
All right, well, let's end it there, man. It was a good episode with y'all, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you everybody for tuning in to Give and Go NBA show. We will be coming with more episodes. The finals will be, I think, June 4th. I believe that's when it starts.
Yeah.
So we finna see how the rest of these playoffs turn out though.
Shout out to Brian. Thanks for Kyle hopping on.
Fellow DJ.
Try to hit my little nap before my set tonight.
Go ahead, bro. Do your thing.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to show off here. Thank you everybody for watching and tuning in to the next episode.
All right.